What's up everybody, Hunter Ziegler here, back with another video, and today's video is going to be kind of a hot take. I've never really done one of these before, but something kind of triggered me a little bit recently while shopping for a rangefinder. I've been in the market now looking for a new one. I've been out for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, and I've got a pretty standard, just average rangefinder that I picked up at like Dick's Sporting Goods or something for, I would say, $60 to $80 at most. So that thing is kind of outdated, and I figured right now would be a good time before I go on an elk hunt this September, to pick up a new one, maybe have a little bit better technology in it, and possibly one that has a little bit of lighting in there where you can see when it starts to get dark on you. I've really been looking, reading reviews, typical scrolling through YouTube videos and stuff like that. And I came across a video on Instagram from Stephen Drake Photo that I just wanted to share with you guys. And I'll tell you my thoughts after you watch this clip here.
This item right here might be the most valuable piece of bow hunting gear ever to hit the market. Let's talk about it. So this is Leupold's RX-5000 rangefinder, and it does something very, very cool. So let's say we're bow hunting deer in Arizona, and say we're on a glassing knob and we spot a mule deer buck at like 800 yards away. Traditionally, you would have to drop down and just go make a stalk in, and hopefully you figure out where he's at. Problem is, like, everything looks the same in that country. There's a bajillion swirl cactuses. They all look the same. It's very, very difficult to make a well-executed stalk when you can't figure out exactly where that deer is. So now insert the Leupold RX-5000 rangefinder. And what this does is, say on that mule deer, I could range him and it would drop a pin directly on onX exactly where that deer is bedded. And now I can just use my phone to make the stalk in, and this thing's accurate within like 10 yards. It's going to tell me exactly where that deer's at.
So my initial thought on this was, wow, this is a great product. What a great idea. And every elk hunting trip that I've ever been on, this would have helped us possibly take down an elk. And on every hunt, I mean, it's 3 or 4 out of 4 times we would have closed the distance a lot faster and been right where we needed to be. And I can specifically remember last year's trip where we had a bugling bull about 500 yards from us across the basin, and we spotted him with binoculars. And between Jordan and Nico and myself, we put a pin on onX where we thought the bull was located. And we did that by just trying to read the terrain and landmarks and the topo map on onX. And what ended up happening when we crossed the basin is we got over there on his side, and we're never able to locate that bull. And he beat us fair and square. That's fair chase in my opinion. We had that pin there. We did our best to get near it, and we set up, did some calling, and he never made a sound. And hindsight's 2020, but I think we ended up dropping that pin probably 700 to 800 yards off of where we actually needed to be. We found that out kind of the next day looking around at the area, and realized that, hey, we might not even have went to the right spot that we were looking at on the map. So that bull alone, if we had this technology with this rangefinder to drop this pin where he was at, we would have ended up right on top of him. Now, whether we would have been successful or not, that's a whole nother story, but it took us 15 to 20 minutes just to read the map and try to pick those landmarks out and go after him. So not only did it take time, it took a lot of thought, and our lack of skill in that case, it beat us. We didn't end up on him, and he got away. And to me, that's fair chase. Now, with this rangefinder, you eliminate that. And my point in telling that story is because we lacked the skill and, failed to read the situation as far as the terrain goes, that bull was able to escape because he knows that terrain better than us. But I don't know where we're going with all this technology. I want to start out by saying I don't have a problem with Stephen Drake. I admire a lot of his photography, and I think he's a good follow on any social media. And I think he means well with this. But I also understand, I think he's trying to sell some products here and maybe help some younger hunters out or just people that are hunting day to day. So I don't have a problem with him, but I do have a problem with the technology. I just think it crosses the line when you need Google Maps to literally route you to the animal to get a shot off. I mean, our generation can't even read a road map anymore. So, what does that tell you? We don't need, in 10, 15 years from now, a bunch of hunters out there that have no common sense. And I mean, I just don't think it's an ethical approach to hunting. And it's turning into more of a business instead of the tradition that it's always been. And I mean, what lessons do you learn whenever you're relying so heavily on technology and your chances of failure are getting less and less? Your odds of being successful are just increasing every day with this technology that's coming out. And I think it's safe to say that we're in the early innings of the AI adoption, and that's more so in the business world. But if I'm being honest, I hope it stays so far away from the outdoor industry, but I'm afraid that's not going to be the case. So I think we kind of need to be vocal about some of these products. And as hunters, if we don't think they're ethical, then we need to not purchase the product. I don't think it's right in this case, and I don't think this product needs to be allowed. It's kind of like the whole cell cam case. We use them in the Midwest, and I think heavily from time to time. I don't really think that it's a fair tactic either. And I know in the Western states they've got certain rules on them, and I'm going to say that this rangefinder hopefully is headed along those same lines. But we're going to continue to see more and more products like this hitting the line here in the next couple of years. And I just wanted to bring it to your attention and really get some feedback from you guys. And I want to know what you all think of this rangefinder. Should it be banned from use?